Here, the Egyptian ambassador to Britain has compared the Muslim Brotherhood to the Nazis, which, once elected to power, had tried to turn everything to its own ideology. Well, I'm joined now to discuss all of this by the former US Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs, PJ Crowley, and Hussein Shaboxi, a broadcaster and journalist from Saudi Arabia. PJ Crowley first. This is the Arab Spring, this democratic revolution unravelling, isn't it? It's going into rewind.
It is going to rewind. From a U.S. standpoint, the narrative of the last 2 years is largely now stopped. The United States had a Hobson's choice, as the reporting suggested. It's made that choice, and obviously whatever happens going forward, there has been serious damage to U.S. credibility in the region, because now whatever choice is made or revisiting of a previous decision, some major actor or actors are going to be highly upset at what happens.
But choice suggests action, and actually the criticism of President Obama is that there's been no action on this. He spoke out on Friday, he deplored, he condemned, he urged, but it was all just words, wasn't it?
Well, actually, words and policies communicate significantly. The administration had an opportunity 6 weeks ago to declare this a coup. It didn't. And that is a decision, and that decision has ripple effects across the region. And now what you're seeing is not just one point of influence. The United States has some influence in Egypt, but not decisive. But you have multiple points of influence, and obviously a competition in terms of currying favor with the government that's likely to emerge in Cairo in the coming months.
Hussein Shaboxi, I mean, it is a coup, isn't it? Would you describe it as a coup?
Of course it's not. I mean, with all due respect to your guest, this is not a coup at all. And frankly, the administration in the United States has already made its statement very clear. John Kerry, the Secretary of State, has already stated, no, it was not an overthrow. It was 33 million people coming out for 5 days constantly asking for a change of the political structure. He disobeyed the oath that he took, and he basically tricked the Egyptian people. There were a series of events that took place within that year. Extremism came about. I think that's also part of the American values, is to fight extremism. All of a sudden, that's no longer a priority. I'm stunned at that notion.
So is it your view that Americans have no role anymore?
Excuse me?
Is it your view that it's the Saudis, for example, that are the key players in this, that the Americans have no say, they have no influence? And they should have no influence.
No, it's the Egyptian people who have a say now, because you, with all due respect to your reporting, check the Financial Times of today's issue. It clearly says that there is a split in the Egyptian people's mind, and there is a tilt towards rejecting the Muslim Brotherhood anymore. We have been affected in this part of the world. We've been fighting a war against terrorism and against extremism. We will not allow this kind of political force to take over the biggest country in the Arab world. The Egyptians have said no to extremism, and I think we should support that. But the administration in the United States has already made it point very clear.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Saudi Arabia is not a democracy. I mean, what right do you have to intervene in what is happening in Egypt?
I didn't say Saudi Arabia is a democracy, nor did I say it's intervening. We are coming to support a brethren in its time of crisis. We are trying to be there for it. We are trying to financially support the Egyptian government and the Egyptian people. And Saudi Arabia is not the only country who's doing that, by the way. There are other countries as well in the region who have stepped forward to that. The American administration officially has also stated that the Egyptian army stood by its people to protect democracy. I don't know why Mr. McCain's opinion is more important than John Kerry's opinion. I'm puzzled at that.
Crowley, where does this leave America? Where does this leave the Obama administration? What must it do now?
Well, the real question is what happens to Egypt. I think that the dilemma for the United States in particular is that having given some lip service to this idea of a popular coup, if you will, the incidents of violence and now the demonization of the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. We don't have to support the Muslim Brotherhood's agenda, but the Muslim Brotherhood is not a terrorist organization. Al-Qaeda is, Muslim Brotherhood is not. The dilemma for the United States is that what's likely to emerge going forward will be a different government, but not a more inclusive one than even the Morsi government. So it may well be good for Egypt in the short term, but it does not advance a democratic agenda in the Middle East.
So you share the British Foreign Secretary's view that this is a very bleak outlook at the moment?
It is a very bleak outlook. It may lead to short-term stability, but it leaves us with the same conundrum that we have, prior to 2011. And the signal by the interim government that it's going to release Hosni Mubarak from custody is only going to splinter the opposition that did come out in the streets in July, and that bodes poorly for the kind of government that will emerge in the coming months.
Thank you to both of you. We'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much.